Have we started recording?
Yeah, why?
Just checking.
That's fucking ominous as hell.
Why?
Okay. Never mind. Okay. Hello, one and all, to our podcast, The Server Knights. Here's me. Why? Okay. I knew. I saw it coming the moment you guys were. Hello, one and all, to our podcast, The Server Knights. Here today is my dad, Rebel Knight, and my brother, Synthwavey. Today we'll be talking about the future. Shut the hell up. We'll be talking about the future of our podcast, and we'll also be talking about future stuff in fandom. Like stuff that we're open to see, stuff that we're not open to see, stuff like that. So I guess to start off with, for the podcast, we hope to continue talking like this. This has been actually a very interesting set of occasions for us.
It's fun. It takes up a little bit of time on our weekends, but it's worth it. I'd say it's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We just talk about things, It doesn't even have to be anything in particular. We could just freelance most times.
Yeah.
But, well, and as we start to get more people listening, we will definitely listen to whatever anybody else that is listening to us wants us to talk about.
Yeah, we're always taking suggestions, and if you guys have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them and stuff. Depending, of course, it's the internet. There could be any number of questions, but
it could get really weird.
For the future of our podcast, some topics we might want to talk about later. We did talk about AI. That our dad has been pushing us to do that. He's also been pushing us to do a lot of paranormal stuff because we've gotten some comments about that.
Yeah.
And I have an extensive history with it, so
I feel like we should do that stuff, but we are also going to be planning to stick to some of the fandom stuff as well, because that is me and Saints. That's our gist. Yeah.
Well, me too. I like all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, just to kind of get us started, what I want to do is I want to go to more cons, and I know there's at least 3 cities not too far from us, and because we still live in a small area, but there are 3 cities that have cons all the time, and I'd like to go to those. I'd like to check those out. Of course, now for you, Gateman, I think there was I don't think you've ever been, but Ren Fair.
I have not been, but I do want to go at some point, because I do technically have a costume or like something like that. Just shut up.
Well, that's the thing, is that you have a couple of different costumes, I think, that you could wear, but it's also that's the area of fandom that really draws you in.
Yeah.
Is the
when I was younger, I always used to run around and fight with sticks, and I used to carry around this like part of a lightsaber, and I used as a staff for like a wizard kind of thing. But that was me when I was younger, and I want to try to get back into that now that I'm older and all that, and I can look cooler doing so.
I know this is a little bit of a side thing, but I kind of remember way back when we used to live at some of the old apartments, and I bought like a roll of duct tape, right? And we always had a toy bin, so I would make modifications to like Nerf guns.
I remember you having
that was that
stuff like that.
That was that Dollar Tree that had like the silver or the Mylar looked kind of metalish, but it would
cool.
Tape all your Nerf guns together with plastic knives and stuff like that.
The most fun part about it was that everybody around the area wanted me to like do modifications to their Nerf guns too. So I would charge them some money, and I would fix up their Nerf guns with like toy knives, and they would have like bayonets on their assault rifles, and it was really funny.
But
we've talked about that before too. Is cosplay, and how we all kind of want to participate in that. We all want to go as a hero, or we want to go as a Jedi, or as a knight. That one time we went to that one con, the 3 of us. I think I was dressed as Superman. You went as
yes, I Synthwavey.
as himself.
Went as Naruto, whatever those guys.
I was an Akatsuki member. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then Gateman was the knight, and everybody wanted pictures with you guys. I thought that was really awesome.
No. Everybody wanted pictures with you guys. Everybody had already seen the Akatsuki members, so nobody wanted a picture with me.
Yeah,
Really, they wanted pictures of Gateman.
Yeah, everyone wanted
because
pictures.
he had the whole helmet thing going, and
Yeah, I had a really cool costume. I had a full-on metal helmet walking around there. But I say we move on. Real quick, I want to say that in the future we plan on doing stuff like a bit more serious, but also more fandom and like more comedic stuff, like we've done in the past. And we hope to continue doing this because this is
something in particular I know we've wanted to do is include like gaming into our videos as well. So at some point, one day, we'll start doing things like I don't know, maybe like Gartic Phone or like Roblox or something, and we'll just play some video game in the background as we're talking about things.
One day we'll be popular.
and you brought up that topic of more serious topics. We've talked about AI, but also like I was talking to you guys about maybe talking about mental health and things like that. But we also want to talk about things like father and son relationships and what dads can do better, what kids can do better, what we could do as
three-legged races.
There's a next generation of people that are in this world, because the world can get kind of screwed up. Anything we can do to try and help people along, I think we should try at least.
Yeah.
In the future, I also hope to talk about stuff that I don't know about just yet. Stuff like H.P. Lovecraft, because I really like some of his works. Also weapons, because...
Have you ever heard of his cat?
No. Okay, let's move on. I also want to
Suddenly, I don't like him anymore.
I want to talk about weapons.
Do you know about H.P. Lovecraft's cat?
Don't. We are on. We are on.
Look up his cat's name.
Do not.
I don't want to look it up.
Dad, look up his cat's name.
I'm not.
I want to talk about weapons because I like swords and stuff like that.
H.P. Lovecraft's cat.
Oh, no, we want to talk about weapons too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I want to talk a bit more about
more like swords and.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about modern weapons because they've caused too much harm. But I mean, like they are useful, but like I think I'd rather talk about like swords and stuff like that. We also want to talk about later this month. We'll be talking about food because it is the food month. Yes, it is.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
we are in America.
America, yeah. Woo, let's go.
America. Yeah, I can't even afford healthcare half the time. Woo woo.
Oh, jeez.
Well, okay, and that's actually a subject I wouldn't mind talking about is in America, I know other countries kind of bash on America for certain things here and there, but even Americans have started doing it because so many other countries are bashing on us. We bash on ourselves.
I wouldn't think it.
And in truth, this is something that your grandfather was a patriot. He was in the Air Force, and I would have been had I not had an injury that does not allow me to be in the armed forces. But I'm a patriot, and I believe in America. And I think it's a pretty great country. We get to do things a lot of other countries can't do or don't do. And there are so many things that are amazing about Americans and America. And even though, I don't know, there's last 10 years, it's been all about just our politics. And we are way more than just that general populace that just looks at our politics as a defining factor for our lives. We do so much more beyond that. And so it's a topic I wouldn't mind.
It is.
That's why I'm voting for Green Day. Green Day should be president.
Isn't that like the fucking band?
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for Hugh Jackman. Oh, wait, he's Australian. Never mind.
Ryan Reynolds for president? What?
He's Canadian.
Damn it.
But
best
lost another
Henry
man.
Cavill? Oh, he's British. All these guys, all these actors that portray Americans and yet they are not. But,
what about Tom Holland? He's American, right?
Yeah, he's so American. He's in Spider-Man.
Well, what about Christian Bale? He was Batman. No? Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. We can't even betray ourselves anymore.
Yeah. Americans can't be American as well.
Well, and it's like an embarrassment thing. Like we always have to apologize. Sorry, I'm American. Why?
We're the new Canadians, except
Well,
for worse.
oh, and that's something else I always kind of bothers me is when people say, "Oh, what nationality are you?" Well, I was born in America, so I'm American. No. What's your history? Well, how about I'm American? I was born in America. I was raised in America.
Yeah.
My parents
it
were
doesn't matter,
American.
like
It's
where you
it's
are,
kind
what's
of-
happening currently. Stupid.
I just don't understand why we can't just say we're Americans.
Yeah.
People say they're French. People say they're Canadian. I'm an American.
I say
Yeah.
I say we move on.
Okay.
I kind of also say
Don't want to
that,
dox ourselves now.
Okay.
But yeah, we plan to do a lot of stuff in the future. If we can, we'll try to do the video stuff at some point. I do plan. Oh, after this, I do plan on doing stuff about like I'm gonna show these two how to do Blender, and that'll be a video soon coming out, most likely. But yeah, we've added some new sounds to sound.
Drilling down.
But otherwise, how about we talk about the future of fandom, some stuff that we want to see in the future.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have two
don't-
viable opinions on this.
I don't like how this started now.
One, most of the Marvel things that have come out as of late have been so garbage that it's been so. Yeah, exactly. I do like the Loki stuff. The Loki stuff has been good. In all fairness, they haven't fully written
In all honesty, though, I just got done watching all the Lokis.
Mm-hmm.
A little slow. It was a little slow. Like the first one was so fast paced and everything was moving. This one felt slower.
It was a power scale, and they backtracked a little bit.
But you know what's really got me excited is that DC, James Gunn, head of the DC universe and everything that's coming up, he's got so much planned. They're going to start releasing stuff next year. That's from what I understood.
I really hope it's good because the last they've had a couple good ones, like the Batman that came out with I think his name was like Edward Patterson or something like that.
Yeah,
that one was pretty good. I did enjoy that one.
Well, okay, so there's one that's called it's Monsters something. It's going to be animated. It's coming out next year. They have it set for next year. They were going to push it off to 2025, and now it's going to be coming out in 2024. I just saw it. And just saw like an article about it, and they've got a bunch of main actors that are going to be in it. It's looking pretty amazing, actually. But there was a comic called The Authority that I was such a huge fan of. It was amazing. All the characters that they had in there had different stories that I'd never heard of before, and I read the comics, and they were amazing. He's doing a full-on live-action movie of these characters, and I'm 100% in on it. I want to be part of it. It's going to be amazing.
Honestly, by the sound of it, I'm kind of wary of it because didn't that the guy who's doing the Justice League stuff have the same idea where he was gonna do this whole world on it, and then it got taken over because something bad really happened to him. I'm worried the same thing's gonna happen with exactly what you're talking about.
Josh Whedon, the guy who directed the first.
So. Yeah.
Well, Josh Whedon did the original Justice League, and he's not a comic book fan. So he didn't understand the characters, he didn't understand the backstories, he didn't understand any of that.
Yeah.
But then when Zack Snyder came back and redid it, and it took 4 hours, it takes 4 hours of your life away, it's a good 4 hours. Justice League was by Zack Snyder was by far one of my favorite superhero movies.
But are there any other movies that are coming out? Because I can't
Yes.
say anything. Go ahead.
Yes, there's another one.
I was stuff I wanted to talk about.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I've been really enjoying the Spider-Verse stuff. They have been going all out on the artistic design on it, and it made a plus impact. Like it's a net positive. It's really good. I've been really enjoying how they've been exploring the the art styles and how different everything is from each other, and like frame rates anywhere from like the blending of colors instead of like cell framing. From a someone who really enjoys art's point of view, the Spider-Verse movies have been really good, and Marvel should keep working on those and keep who they have in charge of them, because honestly, they're doing good on those so far, from what I've been able to tell.
No, they're amazing. They're just amazing movies. Yeah. And they have to do it. They left it open-ended on the last one. I just got to see the second one, the Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And I just watched that, and it was amazing. But now here's the thing: is that I understood the comics. I understood what was going on and who these characters that they were portraying are.
Yeah.
And it was really great. But like your mom, she didn't read the comics. She doesn't understand any of that, so she got a little lost as to who's what and where and how and all that. So she had a hard time with that part, but she still liked it. Nonetheless, she still liked the movie.
I think I particularly really liked it because like some of those characters were in some of the old Spider-Man games, and I used to play the original Spider-Man on the PlayStation. I remember that game.
Yeah.
That one was really fun, but obviously it's a little bit older. But they had some costumes from that game. They had some from the new PS4 game, and a couple different variations from other different projects, like Light Little Things, that were all incorporated into those movies. Even the Lego stuff, I was like, wow, they really added that. You know, like they got the rights to that character on there. You know, it was insane to see in the movies, and especially on the big screen, it was really fun to watch. But I can definitely see how it'd be very overloading for someone who really wouldn't know too much about that series, and hasn't seen all these background versions of the same, character being put into this web of the movie,
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. But yeah.
So I'm sorry that I can't. I'm not saying anything because I honestly can't think of anything that comes to mind when it comes to newer stuff or like stuff that's going to come out. But okay. I'm just going on you guys. Dad, what was the movie that you were talking about earlier?
Fall Guys.
The Fall Guy.
Fall Guys.
So the Fall Guy actually was a TV show in the 80s, and it had the guy who played the Bionic Man, the $6 Million Man, Lee Majors, and he was this stunt man. It was a TV show, and he was a stunt man that on the side did bounty hunting work. And he was kind of a smart ass, but they had like really cool actors, and they had a good theme song, and it had good action, but a lot of people just didn't remember it. And now they're coming out with the movie, which you guys have seen. I put into the topics.
Yes,
were there. I put the trailer in there. So they're coming out with the movie. It comes out in 2024, and it's basically he's on a movie set. He's the stuntman, and the director is his ex. And he ghosted her for some reason, and now they're still kind of in love with each other. But now he's got to save her movie by saving the main star, and they're asking him to be the guy who goes and rescues. So it looks like a pretty good movie. It's a little odd that it's Ryan Gosling, but I'm willing to give it a shot because I do like Emily Blunt. She's a great actress. Ryan Gosling's a good actor too, but for me, he wasn't the same as the original Fall Guy. Lee Majors was like a action hero kind of thing when I was growing up. So to see Ryan Gosling, it's kind of like, the guy from The Note. Okay, but I'm not going to discount it. I'm going to give it a shot and see where he goes, because I did see him in that Netflix show. God, I can't think of the name of it, but it was really good. He was an assassin that turned good guy, and he was a badass.
I mean, you never know with actors going into roles, because like with stuff like the Batman. The same guy who did Twilight was the Batman, and we were like, he's not gonna do good. It's not gonna be good at all. And then we watched it, and it was incredible. And so, you never know when people go into these shows. It could be different for you though, because you do have nostalgia for it.
Well, no, and that's the thing is like I remember watching the first Batman movie that came out in theaters with Michael Keaton, and I remember everybody's talking about Michael Keaton, the guy from Mr. Mom, is Batman. This isn't going to play out well, and he did an amazing job. And then later on, it was, oh, are we really going to allow, Ben Affleck to be the Batman? I don't see that happening. And he was amazing, and everybody loved him. And then they said the same thing about, Robert Pattinson. The guy who was he was the sparkly vampire. Really, are we going to let him be Batman? And he did an amazing job.
You know what it is? I think it's reverse roles. Like your last position has to be something that didn't do well. I think it's because they're like, oh, it's not going to be that great, that they downplay this hype for what could be like one of the better movies, or maybe even just an okay movie, and it downplays it so much that when you go watch it, it's overwhelmingly good, and it's like, holy shit, this is awesome. And everybody starts hitting this train like, it was good, really? And so they're like, all right, I guess I'll watch it. And they're like, damn, this is good. So they start spreading it to the next person. And that's kind of how the trend train starts to take off with it, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting though. I've never actually thought of stuff like that. Like they do it to downplay it rather than hype it up, because if you hype it up, it's just gonna crash hard.
Yeah, because if you have a high expectation of it, it will not hit it no matter what. So you best downplay it so that no matter what, you can only go up from there.
Well, those guys, those companies movie companies that they just spam you with 1,000 trailers and everything, and over a year span, and then they never release. And then when they finally release it, everyone's kind of like, oh, I've seen it all in the trailer.
Yeah, pretty much.
No,
there's a lot of movies that just spoil their like main point in the trailer. It's like, what? Aren't you supposed to watch the movie to find out?
When they play all the best stuff in the trailer, and then you go to the movie and you spend all this money, and because it's so expensive to go to the movies anymore, but you go and you watch, and you're like, all the best scenes were in the trailer. Amazing.
Yeah, there was a movie like that just recently, and it did really well too, because everybody thought it was going to be complete trash and garbage, because apparently there wasn't much like gore and stuff to it, but it did really well. It was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I haven't watched it yet, so I can't put my input on this, but what they did with some of the actors, Game Theory, Matt Pat in particular, is they pretended that he was not in the movie. And he made a video. He's like, yeah, I didn't even get invited to the trailer or anything. And then when people went to go watch the movie, he was in the movie, and they were like, oh. And it got like a ton of people just like watching it. He was actually.
Oh, he was the taxi cab driver.
Was he? No, I think he was the waiter.
That guy. Okay, yes, he was the waiter.
He's like, I have a theory, I think, if I remember correctly. But I haven't watched
something interesting about that is that I don't know these guys, these YouTube guys, where everybody watches these gaming guys, and they watch how they play the game and where it goes from there. And so we just happened to be in a packed house when we watched it, and most of them were preteens. And all of a sudden, everybody went nuts, and your mom and I look at you like, what's going on? And then your brothers had to tell us, oh, that guy's a YouTuber. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's in a movie. And we're like, okay. So it happened like 3 different times, and we're like, we don't know who these guys are. It was kind of neat to see everyone so excited about it.
It's actually insane, because I've heard of talk about this, but there's like channels that have like millions of views, like millions and millions of views, and then when people talk about it in real life, it's like, who's this person? What are you talking about? And it's people won't know it, but there'll be like millions of people watching, and it's just insane.
Yeah, because most times it's a very specific audience. Like only certain people will watch certain things, right? So like, there could be 1 million, but it's a very specific million. Like, it could be a very niche category of people, like introverts per se. Introverts obviously don't get out and talk to people, but they watch tons of videos, right? So obviously, if you try to talk to somebody who's like an extrovert or a normie who doesn't really, spend their time on the internet, it's going to be hard to talk to them about like specific things like that. But the introverts will know, and that's why it's so hype when it's in theaters, because it's all introverts and all people are like looking forward to the same thing. and it's a niche group of people that all come together, and it becomes less niche because of it.
But yeah, that's,
I guess.
that's fair.
I don't follow influencers. I don't follow influencers for that kind of stuff.
Well, okay, with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie in particular, the reason why MatPat is so popular is because he's one of the main reasons Five Nights at Freddy's itself is so popular. There's a lot of lore in the games that started off just the first game unto itself, and I don't even think Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, knew how much lore he was putting in until MatPat made a theory on it, and then he built off that. I think 100%, and it spanned over hundreds and hundreds of videos on just FNAF. At Five Nights at Freddy's, I don't know. It got popular because of lore. It got popular because people would play the games, and the new games that came out. It kind of based itself off of cheap jump scares, but it was the lore and the fan base that really kept it going, I'd say.
Well, and this is one of those things that we talked about before, where so many people put energy into it that it can almost bring it to life. Five Nights at Freddy's could be one of them. Where you start seeing animatronic, Chuck E. Cheese kind of guys, coming to life and killing people. It can be brutal. It wasn't overly gory in the movie, but it still had a good story and premise to it. I liked it. I would never discount that movie.
Oh, I have yet to watch it, but I do want to watch it.
A topic we should also bring up would be ARGs, which I've actually seen a lot about.
Yes.
ARGs are, I think there are alternate reality games, something like that.
Yes.
And they're basically a series about, how do they put it?
It's interactive horror is what it is, basically.
Yeah. It's series where you have to solve the mystery of what's going on through all this, through all the horror and all that, It's like a game. It's a mystery game that you can do through videos or something like that.
It's a little hard to describe, but it's basically like, imagine this guy's creating a YouTube channel and he makes a vlog, and it's like a normal vlog, but there's slight things in the background that are just off, just unnerving almost. And you're like, all right, I'll comment, what is that thing in the background? And then the YouTuber will be like, oh, this thing, I just bought it on eBay, it's one of those cursed dolls or something like that, and they continue making their vlogs, and for the next couple videos nothing too much is happening, but if you look in the background, the doll's moving or something, or things are running around, and they'll discredit it. They'll be like, this is just a doll, it'll never move, it never moves, that's just not how it works. And so you're like, you comment or something and say something along the lines of make a video based on this doll, and they'll depending on their storyline that they want to build off of, they'll be like, all right, fine, I'll do it just to show you guys nothing's happening, and all of a sudden the house fucking explodes and the doll's like this crazy monster or something, and the sun gets blotted out and just explodes or some shit, and the world ices over. But usually they're they go from nothing to everything all at once. Most times, they're really interesting because they're interactive experiences with people, and they're really cool like that.
But yeah, that's something.
And the crowd goes silent.
Could someone do the fire beeping noise real quick? I don't think that's okay. Whatever. So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so with all the new movies that are coming out, and they're doing more second parts, 3 parts, 4 parts. They're also adding in a lot more TV stuff that's coming up. Both the big comic book companies, Marvel and DC, have big movies that are coming up, big TV shows that are coming up. Yeah. All this. What about gaming?
Actually,
what do you guys see the fandom of gaming go? I mean, because the games are getting ridiculous. They're so good.
Yes.
But there's a feeling for me sometimes where I kind of like the stuff that almost has kind of a cartoony feel to it.
Yeah.
But then I really dig the stuff like Remnant. Remnant 2 is coming. And,
I don't know too much about that one.
You're gonna start.
That's amazing. And Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
I don't know that game.
Okay, so actually, I do have a bit
You
to
guys
say.
are the gamers. I'm just kind of the old guy who knows a couple.
I have a lot to say about gaming as well, because gaming, there's some ups and downs, as of late. Modern Warfare 3 came out, the remaster, and everybody's been having trouble with just trying to play the pre-order for it. So obviously the people who pre-ordered it are having a horrific experience with it, and they're unleashing games out of onto beta. They put it on beta, which is the dumbest decision I feel like that they could do, because it's not ready yet, and people understand it's not ready, but they also don't understand it's not
real
ready.
Quick, could you describe just for the viewers, could you describe what's happening with the with all the
maybe even touch on what beta means.
Okay,
for
beta beta in particular is not the full release of the game. It is a not fully adapted and fine-tuned version of a game. Like, imagine with Fortnite, right? Imagine you're playing the newest season of Fortnite, not our newest one, but the last island map that we were on. That's like the full release, right? And the game that we're playing now, that's full of glitches and bugs that we're having trouble running sometimes, that's basically a beta. And the only difference is it's almost unplayable, basically. It's just to look at the map.
It's the unpolished version of a game that you're allowed to play, basically. But
yes,
I would like to talk about the problems that people were having with the Modern Warfare 3, pre-orders and all that. Did you touch on it that way, because you have a bit more knowledge in it?
Yeah. I'll try to remember it as best as I can. I didn't look up too much on this topic. I just kind of vaguely heard it. So, obviously my info is not the best, but I know it's a thing.
You know more than us, I guess. I don't play this game.
Pretty much, they would download the game, and they would be like, "Oh fuck!" They
come on, speak.
I'm trying. They would download it, and they were trying to exit, but they couldn't exit. So they tried to. They went into the game, and they tried to exit, but they couldn't exit, so it sent them to the lobby. So they were like, all right, I should exit from here. There's no X button at the very top of the screen there. So they go back into the game, try to go through the settings to exit. They couldn't exit. So they uninstalled the game, basically, from their computer, and then they went to the store, and it says they already have it downloaded. And it's not downloaded, it's uninstalled. And it would be back and forth, and they just would not be able to enter or exit the game because it said they already had it set up, but it wasn't. So people were getting very upset with Modern Warfare for this. Not only that, but there was tons of bugs and glitches because obviously it's a beta. So and they reused and re-added multiple textures for multiple of their other games, the other Modern Warfares. Which, I mean, that's not too bad, but like at the same time, it should be fairly original if they can help it. But I think the biggest problem with like games nowadays is that they try to fit it. They don't try to fit it. They make it so the storage size takes up so many gigabytes, like hundreds of gigabytes at this point, almost a terabyte now.
Like Scarlet and Violet. It was like lagging out people's like games and stuff like that, but it was like a normal sized game that I'm pretty sure that it would have been fine if they hadn't like tried to fit in like. So I saw someone go through like the background stuff like that, and when they went off the map, there was just this huge ass like water pool or something like that. Or like ground that was just in the background and nobody could reach it, but it was just there in the background. And I feel like stuff like that, adding stuff that doesn't need to be added, and not deleting stuff that's like,
the lack of condensing. They need to condense more is what it is, because these consoles they can hold a lot as is. That being said, the games take up so much that like I think the biggest problem is that you can't just like put in a disc and play anymore. You have to download the game. That is so incredibly garbage, and I hate it. I mean, you don't have to fit that much on a disc anymore, sure, but like you have to spend hours downloading a game if you have bad Wi-Fi, and that's horrific. And if you're just playing like a game that you're only going to play like once or twice, because it takes so long to download, it's not worth it. So you stop playing those games. And I think too many consoles nowadays are like, yeah, just keep bringing out these big games. We'll just keep upgrading our space, but they don't do that. And it makes it so you can handle only maybe like 3 or 4 games at a time, instead of how Xbox 360 used to hold somewhere like 20 games at a time.
Can't wait to only have enough space for one game. Fortnite. Anyway.
Right.
Well, computers can hold actually quite a bit, surprisingly enough. The only problem is the graphics and stuff. Like, it can't run the graphics as well, and that is problematic. If you have your game set to like the lowest graphics, it's no biggie. But like, you're missing out on a lot when you don't have as much graphics, which is kind of unfortunate. They need to learn how to condense things better. But yeah, no, there's a lot of problems going on with like games and doing that right now. That being said, I don't know if you guys heard about Destiny 2 and Bungie laying off like a majority of their staff and making it literally unplayable the next day.
I remember that was Fortnite did Epic Games, didn't they do something like that too?
They did get rid of a lot of their staff, but they didn't fully get rid of their staff. And they didn't make it so the game is unplayable, is what I'm saying. Like, Destiny 2 in particular, they deleted some of the main people. Or got rid of some of the...
Deleted.
Yeah. We're talking about games, so I'm in brain game mode.
Throw them into a recycling bin.
I'm a gamer. I don't think you understand. But pretty much they got rid of one of the main systems that make the game launchable, so that you weren't able to launch the game. And it made it so anybody who was playing Destiny at the time got like taken out of Destiny, and they couldn't start it back up, and it was shut down for a couple days, and it was just horrific because there was no pre-planning. They didn't warn any of the players like, hey, we're shutting this down for a bit. Nothing. It was just out and done for a little bit. And you can't do that with gamers, because people have like save files that they're working on. They're working on like loading things and keeping farms going and whatnot when it comes to games, but not on Destiny, of course, but like in general. I don't know. It's annoying when they don't try to connect with their player base about certain things, and when they just get rid of full staff without telling anybody about it.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Well, and the gaming industry in general has always been kind of a rough industry, especially when it comes to their programmers and their designers and their creators. They keep a handful of people as part of the main company, but then like programmers and stuff, they hire and fire them as soon as the project is done.
Yeah.
And I always felt like that was kind of shitty, but that's just me. I always felt like they ought to keep good programmers, they ought to keep good people who work hard, you know.
It's infuriating because like all these people who work on the main product should be staying on the main product, right? But they just toss them out like left and right, and and you bring in new ones, but they don't understand how it works because they weren't there for the building of it, and it ruins the game for everybody when nobody knows what they're doing. And too many games have done this. I know, obviously, like. It's hard to describe. There's some games in particular where that kind of thing is just overrun, where they got rid of all their main programmers and it just became a whole nother game. Actually, City Heroes was like that, where they went to go work on Aeon, and they gave up on City Heroes and they kind of switched staff and stuff over and over again.
So I think that some of these companies think that they can just lessen the amount of people working on it to save money, and then bring back as many as they need. But I don't think that's the case. The case is that if you bring in more new people, they're not going to know what, as Tucker said, they're not going to know what's going on. So if you're getting rid of people that are working on this game, that know how to work on this game, then you should keep them. Or if you want to have less people permanently, or like just have less, well, not permanently, but like less people working on it that will know their stuff, then just fire them. But you shouldn't fire them just because you need to save money, because then if you hire more people later on, they're just going to make a mess of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I think too many games rely on like DLC and stuff nowadays. Like the main game is no longer enough, but they still charge the full price of the game. And I think that's stupid. because if you're making a game, you should have all the content in the game. That is just how it's supposed to be. That's video games. That's how it is. But they're like, man, we only put like half the game into the main game. The rest is all in DLCs, because they make like 50 DLCs afterwards, and it's like, okay, so what was the point of like sending out a main game and making us pay full price for it? I think that's annoying. If it's an add-on and you're only doing 1 or 2, sure, that's fine. But if you're doing like 50, you're basically making 2 games. Just make 1 game and then make the second game. Don't make it 50 DLC that you have to purchase individually.
So
it's annoying.
I know I have no stake in this because I haven't played the game, but at the same time I want to say that Breath of Tears of the Kingdom is just a DLC, because it's the same thing. It's the same character, but in a slightly changed area. And I feel like, and I know that stuff like the underground area or the skies could be called, like, it's just it could make it a new game, but at the same time, it is the same exact area, but with added on stuff. That's literally a DLC.
Well, okay, so I actually do like the way that Nintendo does their stuff when it comes to that, because instead of making it 50 DLC items, they just turned it into 1 full second game. And while it is the same area, technically, it is the whole same, city area landscape. It's the same landscape. There are light changes, just enough to tell. They have new mechanics, which make it renewed and fun. That kind of make it so you can explore things you weren't able to before. And I think the main thing is that there's a whole second story to it. Now, I haven't played the game, so I can't tell for sure if it's great, but I've heard that it's really good.
But I want.
Now you got input on the new Zelda game.
I want to.
Actually, I think the Zelda games are amazing.
Yeah.
That Breath of the Wind was.
Passing of the wind.
I don't know, something like that.
Passing of the wind.
Passing of the wind.
But
that one, I used to watch you guys play all the time, and it was fantastic. The graphics were fantastic, and the movement was really great. I was on board just even watching it. I would just get drawn in. And then they came up with another one, right? After that.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, that's what we were talking about just now. Yeah. That one, they had a whole new mechanism mechanic that you can make like giant mechs or like airplanes and shit on. I don't know, things that made the game like insane looking and like fun to play, But I never give it a shot because I obviously don't have the money for it. But it looked really fun from what I could tell.
Sorry, did I cut you off, Dad?
No.
So I wanted to talk about games that we hope for in the future. Well, games that are coming out in the future could be seen, but I want to talk about games that we hope can come out in the future. Because there is a game that I probably don't know. I don't know how communities and stuff like that handle my opinion on this, but I am hoping for Ashes of Creation to come out. It's a MMO that's been promising for stuff, and they've actually done like beta tests and stuff like that. Or whatever you call it, just stuff previous to the game. Ashes of Creation. It's an MMO that I've been looking forward for several years, but they are adding on a lot of stuff, and they don't seem like they're gonna like back away from it. What
POV is it? Is it like third person, first person?
I believe it is third person.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, like City of Heroes, but not City Heroes.
I guess.
Well,
why do you guys have weird ways of saying third person? I'm not gonna lie.
When I play MMOs, that's how I see it. Is you're a third person. You're not seeing it where.
Dad, you're backing off.
You're seeing it through their eyes. You're back off a little bit. But see, I'd like to see a game where
he's still going,
combines the.
Just let him pop.
You cut out.
Just let him cook. Just let him cook.
Oh, for a while. We didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'd like to see a game where they combine like the details and the change. I'm not sure what I'm thinking of the wording is on this. Where you can change the costumes and the design.
Customization
like City of Heroes, but in like almost a Fortnite kind of format. because I really like the ability to fight like we do when we play Fortnite, but I would really like to customize the character that I'm creating and working with.
So being able
like
to
I do on
fully
Spin Heroes.
So being able to fully customize your character while also, doing stuff.
Okay.
But
I don't know. Okay, so something I really liked about City of Heroes that was different from a lot of games is that you could fully and like intentionally just completely design your character from the beginning and not have to worry about changing your character up later on if you didn't want to. I mean, you could, but you didn't have to. Customization was just freelance. So the gameplay itself is what it mainly focused on after that. And I think that was really cool and it's very unique to City of Heroes that I would love to see in other games.
I liked that part, and I also liked when DC Universe Online came out. I love the stats that they gave at the end of each mission.
That was cool, yeah.
I really liked that, like who did the most damage, who was doing most of the healing, who got the last hit, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I really liked those stats that just would pop up at the very end and then you'd leave.
Yeah.
I love that. Little things like that I think were really great about DC Universe Online. I wasn't real big on the rest of it, although I did like, for me, with DCUO, was playing with my favorite character of all time, which is Batman. Being able to play in the game alongside Batman and solving a crime or completing a mission with him. I thought that was amazing.
So I want to bring it back to stuff about the future or what you're hoping for. Are there any movies that you hope for? I'm hoping for the newer Spider-Man movie, the second one. To cross the Spider-Verse and all that.
Now, I don't know if this topic is like the chance of what we'd like to see as movies. Because if I was to choose something to see as a movie, it would have to be Nier Automata, which I know they're doing the anime for, but oh man, to see it as a movie would be something else, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
That would be just so fun to watch. Oh yeah, they have an anime for Nier Automata, Dad. I don't know if I told you that. So if you ever felt like just watching to see what it was like or what the game looked like and the scenery and whatnot, that anime, worth the watch, I'd say.
Okay.
They only have season 1 right now, which covered maybe the first beginning of the game and the first couple of endings. But the next season that they're going to be doing, if I remember correctly, is going to be how the actual ending of the game was supposed to be, the main endings. So.
Well, there's several movies I'm kind of excited for. The Deadpool movie, the third one, installment.
Ooh, yeah,
looks
me too.
Really great. It's gonna, just clips that you see and things like that. It looks amazing. But then there's really just a couple of pictures here and there. They're keeping it really close to the vest, and it's I want to see it because Ryan Reynolds is just hysterical as Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
No one could have played it better. But they're going to bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which I think is going to be fun. They're having the straight man as Wolverine. If it's anything like the comics, basically Wolverine's the straight man, and Deadpool is just the mouth-running comic the whole time. It's going to be amazing. But there's also a bunch of new Marvel movies coming out. There's the Marvels. That looks okay. I'm kind of excited. I just started seeing new stuff for the new Captain America: Brave New World.
Isn't it
it's going to have the White Widow, which was Black Widow's sister.
Oh.
It's going to have it's basically Captain America, which was originally the Red Falcon, and Winter Soldier. They're both going to be in this movie as well, and supposedly they're going to bring in a movie with Nova, which is really cool. He was a really cool character I grew up with.
I vaguely remember that character.
I remember him from the Spider-Man stuff, I believe.
Yeah, so there's those ones. There's going to be a new Godzilla vs. King Kong movie.
I've heard of that. It looks interesting.
They've talked about a new live-action Moana movie, and that Dwayne Johnson may actually play the guy, the character that he voiced before. There's talks of Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Tony Stark.
Really?
I think that might be as a TV show thing.
Oh, okay.
But there's there's so much coming up. There's a Gladiator 2 movie
they're making
put
it
out.
for the Gladiator.
Yeah,
It's
actually called Gladiator 2. And there's, of course, another Avatar movie that's supposed to be coming up. That one, I don't know if they're coming out anytime soon. That one really feels like it's going to push out for a few years.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen the second one. I have not seen the second Avatar.
Really?
I was working.
It's good. I wouldn't say it was the best one, but
most times when they do those movies, it's more to show off the tech that like 4K has and like mixed with 3D.
Avatar
like
didn't the original Avatar have like a 3D thing going on with it, like TV and all that?
Yeah, it was really good. I think they always show off the tech.
Can't wait for Avatar 3 AR edition.
well, there's also a new Beetlejuice 2 movie that's coming out.
That'll be interesting.
There's supposedly a new Alien movie that'll be coming out later on.
That'd be interesting.
And
I've really
doing a backstory on Gary for It. It's supposed to be coming out. They're doing a backstory on the evil clown.
They're really milking some stuff here, huh?
They're really trying to pull for some stuff, but there's one that I would love to see, which would be it's called they've named it a bunch of different things, but Logan 2, and it would be where the girl was in the Old Man Logan movie, the movie called Logan, but where she becomes a superhero.
Yeah, they haven't done anything with that, and I feel like that'd be cool. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Future stuff.
Yep. But well, is there anything else that we would want to talk about? Yes, time is moving. Time is eternal. I shall die in a couple seconds.
Hey, can we pause for a minute?
Sure. Why do you want me to pause?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Well, I think we're just about to wrap up, actually.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Okay, sounds good then. Well, and I guess, yeah. You can find us on Tumblr, Reddit, Twitter.
All right, that's all wrapped up.
Yeah, that's all. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube, and that'll be it. I guess that's all. Take care, guys.
Right.
We'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you soon.
Later, guys.
Future!